would like to introduce the chairperson of the KCFR. One woman sparked the biggest civil rights movement in the world. So, whether it's Mother Teresa, whether it's Florence Nightingale before her, or the little girl Greta Thunberg, one woman can change the world. Ms. Nadra Panjwani.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Distinguished diplomats, respected panel, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Today, KCFR has arranged a panel discussion for you on the current crisis in South Asia, which is the latest round of hostilities between Pakistan and India. We demanded a transparent and impartial investigation into the incident, pledging full support in the process. But this did not suit India, who finds blaming Pakistan the best way to shore up domestic support, deflect internal criticism, and portray herself as a victim of Pakistani aggression. This Indian obsession and mindset has for decades obscured the truth and hindered their understanding of the dynamics of the Kashmir crisis. I will conclude with a prayer, which is not just lip service, it's from the heart. May our mothers sleep without fear for their children. May our children wake up to laughter and joy. May the gentle winds of peace sweep across our region, and may the people of Pakistan and India walk together towards a future filled with dignity and happiness for both nations. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Pakistan Zindabad.
I have this unique opportunity to introduce Mr. Ikram Sehgal today. From war hero to a successful entrepreneur, to a professional in his field, to a completely different kind of person who took up the task of defense and diplomatic analysis in this country, giving it a new angle, representing Pakistan on different forums, whether it be media or otherwise. And I think that he has achieved a lot, and there is a lot that he has to achieve now, because the task becomes even difficult for him now as we have to work for peace. And I think that's what he's been working all his life for. Mr. Ikram Sehgal.
Thank you, Mr. Nasser, for such a nice introduction. Nadra Panjwani and members of KCFR, Mr. Qadir Jafar, Marshal Raz, and others, and our friend there, and diplomats, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. But the point is that they were first of all jammed, and then beyond BBR, the J-10 missiles and the BBR beyond vision range missiles took them out. And whether they were 3 Rafales or 2 Rafales, it effectively grounded the Indian Air Force, right? And Pakistan really believed that the worst was over. It didn't happen. 8th, the 9th went, and they kept on the drone attacks. But May 10th, early morning, at 2:55, the BrahMos missiles attacks came in. And when the BrahMos missiles attack came in, Pakistan then was given the go-ahead, the Pakistan Armed Forces were given the go-ahead to respond. And they did respond. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you back to June 1987. June 1987, when in a 6-day war, Israel thereafter became the dominant power in the region. 1987, in a 6-day war. May I be forgiven in saying that the Pakistani Air Force, in a 6-hour war, did the same thing. Today, one is proud of the uniform I wore, and many of us have worn with great pride. And our boys have done us proud. We must not lose this pride because of machinations. We must watch out. They were again bailed out. Somebody now said very rightly about J.D. Vance, and he's saying 24 hours earlier he was saying we are not part of it. Then he says this thing, etc. Talked about it. So they've again been bailed out. They've been bailed out. And since my friend Alexis is here, let me tell you, you gave Rafael to the wrong people. Thank you.
India-Pakistan relations had been relatively smooth thanks to the LOC truce that they concluded in 2021. And if you remember, a few years ago, we had this Indian missile that suddenly flew into Pakistani territory. India said that it was from a training malfunction. Pakistan, of course, reacted angrily, but that did not become a bilateral crisis. And that's remarkable because in so many other contexts that could have provoked a conflict. But I think it was a reflection of how both countries really wanted to keep the relationship on a low boil, keep the tensions down so that they could focus on other priorities. This recent India-Pakistan crisis shows that despite this relative calm in the relationship over the last few years, at the end of the day, it still is a major flashpoint in the India-Pakistan dynamic, and that is something that will be very difficult for the world to ignore, given that India and Pakistan are nuclear-armed adversaries.
Pakistan, through its decisive retaliation in round one, where we shot down 5 Indian planes, the biggest loss for the Indian Air Force in 50 years. And in round two, where we decisively thrashed India and gave them a bloody nose. They attacked 7 of our spots, we attacked 26 of their spots, including drones over Delhi, including supremacy in air, in missiles on the land, in technology, and also cyber supremacy, a new element. And I would say, while talking about the strategic fallout of Pahalgam and this crisis that we have had, this was Pakistan's finest hour.
We won on battlefields and we lose on negotiating tables. And once again, we are probably on negotiating table. And we haven't even sat on one where we are hearing that we do not accept third-party mediation, it can't happen in a third country, etc., etc.
We have done much better than what we should have done. This is because this is commendable for Pakistan Air Force that our arms expenditure is $11 billion only, as compared to $81 billion of India.
Pakistan-India issue must be resolved. But unfortunately, we need to understand, and I always say that the only difference between Pakistan and Indian politics in the last 5-6 decades, the Indians electorate started supporting extremists. And BJP is the classical example, voting BJP to power basically threatened the nuclear war, and one can only hope that after what happened in the last few days and in the last 2 weeks, I personally believe that war is not over.
I personally think that we should look at the falling standards of Indian media. In my opinion, it reflects the degenerating Indian society. So now with the passage of time, what has happened, and it is sad to see that senior journalists like Barkhadat or Rajdeep Desai, whom I used to have a lot of respect, and they have swept away in this extreme tide where they came up with a integrated campaign, disinformation campaign against Pakistan. I mean, it said that I have sent messages to senior journalists in India that actually I'm residing 300, 400 meters away from Karachi port. It has not been attacked. My friends and my relatives are safe in Lahore. So there's nothing happening.
As we have seen, three wars, Kargil. Since current Modi government, he took over I think in July, mid of 2014. Immediately in 2016, they carried out a hoax and claimed it as a surgical strike. 3 years forward, they moved a step ahead, and then they carried out Pulwama incident, and then we returned them in kind, and we all know that an enemy who thinks himself powerful, who is under hubris of power. Second, it is wounded, and number three, it is hurted. It's humiliated. So I think they will always find reasons to make another attempt, and for which I think the Pakistan military or Pakistan armed forces, along with the all elements of national power, they should be ready, because military only exists to provide credibility to the other elements of national power.